What is going on? It's your boy JDM, Jason Downing Music. Welcome to this edition of the Producing for Artists sessions. Glad you're here. I'm just figuring out all this streaming stuff, so I think I need an actual longer intro video because it took me the 3-minute countdown just to figure out how to stream to everything. So if you're here from YouTube, welcome. If you're here from Instagram, welcome. Just to give you an overview of what we talk about every week, we talk about the mindsets. We talk about the marketing and the music creation skills that you need to build in order to make money from your music. Now, none of us have all of the answers, and there are a million different types of income streams that you can have from your music. But we like to talk about those, find out what works and what doesn't. Just real quickly, I do want to go over some free resources that you have available if you are part of the Producing for Artists Facebook group. Here, let me give me 1 second here. I'm just going to post a link to the group real quick. 1 second. There we go. Here's the link to the Producing for Artists Facebook group. If you happen to have Facebook, there are some free resources in here that I want to show you real quick. So let me share my screen. And I like to do this at the beginning of every show. What's up, Drew Burford? What is happening, Brainiac? Let me share my screen. And here we go. Just going to share I'll share this tab. No, I'm going to share the whole screen. Hold on. Here we go. All right. All right. So I'm just going to go over here to the Producing for Artists group. There we go. All right. So I put a link in the chat. If you want to join, it's just Producing Artists FL. If you're looking for that. All right. There we go. But if you go to the files section, if you remember this group, you can go to the files section right here. And there's a few things you may be interested in, including a course I just put together on how to get your first sync placements. And I just did a couple of extra courses to this today, or like modules to this today. So what you can do is, I think it's just to open the guide here. So if you just open this guide, so click on the file, and it'll bring you to the post, and then you click on that. It should download. And when you open that up, you'll see a download link right here. And once you click on that, it'll bring you to all the folders, all the guides, and all the videos. So if you've ever been interested in, here, let me stop sharing my screen real quick. If you're ever interested in like getting into sync placements, I found a way. So I just kind of show you what I did in order to get there. A lot of it I learned from a guy named Clint Productions, who has his own course and program and all of that. If you want the info on that, I think I included that in the guides of the course. So if you want to take a deep dive and learn from a true expert, you can there. But if you just want to say, hey, I want to get my first sync placements, pick up that free course in the Facebook group. All right, what's up, AI? What's happening? All right. So today we are going to, one other thing I did want to show. If you know anybody that's interested in learning how to produce their own music who's not doing it today, or maybe they're on a certain DAW and they want to try FL Studio, I have something available for them as well. So let me share my screen one more time. And I have an affiliate program set up to it as well. So if they end up like buying the full course, you would get half the money. So let me show you that real quick. Let me share just the tab. Here we go. All right. So let me see what that looks like on the screen. Okay, cool. All right. So this is producingforartists.com. So producing the number 4artists.com. If you come here, you can see there's the grab your free training. That just goes over the basics of FL Studio, how you can create your first professional track in less than 2 hours, just using the basic version of FL Studio and free stuff you can find on the internet. There's a little green button right here, and you click on that, and it will take you to, they just give you the email, and they can sign up right here. It's easy. If they're interested in learning more, there's this is a little sneak peek video on the entire Producing for Artists course. It's over 8 hours of content, and just it goes all the way from like conceptualizing what type of track you want to create, all the way to the final mixing and the mix down and exporting your stems, all of that. So if they're interested in that, they can just grab their free training there. There's a few testimonials and stuff like that. So it's just producingforartists.com. And there's also an affiliate program. So if you click on the affiliate link right here at the top, let me see. I should be sharing. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right tab. Yeah. So if somebody's interested in that course, they want to learn more about music production. I did the whole course from the perspective of an artist who wants to learn how to produce for themselves. So especially if you know like a singer, a rapper, or something like that, they want to start learning how to produce their own stuff. You can enter your name here and say, hey, I know some people. Enter your name, enter your best email, say you want to join. It'll send you a link that will show you or give you 50% off if they use that link to purchase the course. And also I have some predetermined or pre-made emails. So if you have an email list and you just want to send it out to your people, I've already put it through the spam checker and all of that. So it's optimized to get through that spam filter. And there's like 4 you can send. You can send all 4. You could just pick a couple and whatever. But if they happen to click on your link, then you could get some money that way. All right, cool. That's the spiel. That's the sales. That's the, what do you call it? The pitch, I guess, for the beginning of this. All right, so let's dive into it. So this week, what we're going to talk about is we're going to go over mindset. We're going to talk about the rule of scavenging. We're going to talk about marketing and using Chat GPT. If you're not using an AI tool like Chat GPT in 2024, you are behind everybody else if you're trying to do anything with your music. I'm just going to go over a couple ways that I use it, prompts to create and all of that. But literally, it's like having a digital mentor to help you, with anything that you can think of. Monetization. So we're going to talk about attention to detail when you first connect with a sync licensing company, how important that is. And we're going to also talk about some future plans for producing for artists, just so you know what's on the horizon. As of today, I have made the group private, so there will be kind of a gatekeeper. We just want to make sure that this group's feed's not full of spam, and check out my music, and here's some pills you might want to buy, or whatever whatever things can end up in public groups. We're just going to do a little bit of gatekeeping to make sure that only the right people are coming in here, and we're helping each other out, and we're actually trying to learn this music monetization thing. So we're going to talk about the future plans for producing for artists, what that program is going to be, how it's going to grow, and all that kind of stuff. And then music creation. I didn't get any submissions this week for music review, which is cool because I really don't have the full hour anyway. I have to leave a little bit early anyway. But we could talk about formatting. So maybe we went over that last week. This week, when I created a module, we talked about exporting for sync. So maybe I'll show you a little bit of that when we do music creation. All right, cool. So let me check the chat. I'm just seeing a couple of what's ups. No questions or anything like that. So let's dive right into it. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so let's start with the mindset. So for this week, I just want to talk a little bit about here. Let me take off my headphones. The rule of scavenging. And what does that mean exactly? So use what you have and what you have around you. And once you start getting in the right frame of mind, you're going to realize that you have a lot of tools, a lot of resources, a lot of connections, a lot of relationships, a lot of things at your disposal that you never thought of before. And it's almost like, I don't know if in order to be a music creator, right, you have to have some sort of obsession with it, right? And when you became obsessed with music creation, you started noticing every, plugin, tool, video, maybe you started crafting videos. So you started learning about video creation, editing, that type of stuff, doing special effects. It kind of takes you into these different worlds where you become obsessed and your mind gets in that frame, and then you start noticing all the things you have around you that are going to help you with that. A lot of people, what the mistake that they make is they focus on the things they don't have or that they wish they had. Don't start with that, right? You don't have it. So how is it going to help you get where you want to go if you're just dreaming of having, your own multi-million dollar studio and, connections with major record label executives or whatever, right? I mean, you can build a path to get there, but start with what you have. So for example, uh what was like I used to have the laptop I had like 2 laptops ago. I basically had a netbook, right? And it had like an Intel processor that was what do they call it? It wasn't even an i3 or an i5 or anything like that. It was like a Celeron. That's what they called it. It had a Celeron processor. It had like a gig of RAM, right? When I very first started producing. And anytime I try to make a track, it would freeze up, right? So what I did is I used what I had. I come up with workarounds like, okay, I just need to, export and render this out every time I make a new sound. So it's just a WAV file and it doesn't take up that much RAM and memory. And I was still able to create some pretty cool stuff with the things that I had. Um, if you start focusing on what you don't have, I mean, yes, I needed a computer upgrade and I eventually got there, but I didn't wait to create my music until I had a great computer, right? You just got to keep grinding every day. You got to keep putting in work. Use what you have around you. One of the things that you can have around you, that you have at your disposal that is absolutely free, is Chat GPT. Yeah, facts. We wear a lot of hats. That is true, and some of them say pay to producer on them. That is true, Aaron Island. So, let me share my screen with ChatGPT real quick. Let me open it up, and I'm just going to show you a few ways that I use it as somebody who's trying to start his own business, does music every day, and things like that to get your wheels turning. I mean, there's a lot of like programs that people sell to teach you how to write prompts, but it's really just common sense. Think of ChatGPT as an actual person that you can ask a question to. And if you're not asking the right questions, you can ask it to, ask clarifying questions to help you ask the right questions. It's not that complicated. All right, so let me share my screen, and I'll show you kind of how where I started like a month ago as well, if I still have that chat in there. Now, the free version of GPT does have limitations, like you may be in the middle of asking it a bunch of questions, and then it'll stop and it'll be like, oh, we're out of memory, which is just, like you have to wait another 6 hours to ask your next question or something like that, right? Obviously, they're in this to make money. You can't blame them. They're still giving you this great service for free. So, I mean, you can just wait it out and wait that six hours, or you can pay a price and pay a monthly subscription. Depending on how much you use it, I would say with any subscription, really think about it before you sign up for any subscription because that is a recurring cost. And you know what? Maybe I'll bring up my P&L sheet for this business today if there's time. All right, but anyway, let me share my screen with ChatGPT. All right, so here's some of the things that I've searched for. Let me find. Let's see if it has the original. It might have been back in August. No, it was more in September. Let's see. NFL picks against the spread. So if you're in a a pick'em league, you may want to use it for. You can use it for anything, right? But there was one where I wanted to most profitable music services. I'm looking for one that where you can create your own mentor. And I may just retype it just to show you how we did it. Most profitable. No, it wasn't that one. Money making strategies. It might be that one. Music production beyond beats. Okay, that was back in April, so it definitely wasn't that. Maybe it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. Here, I'll just give you an example. All right, let's say you're starting from scratch. We're just going to start a new chat. And let's say you have a goal, right? You want to become better at, or maybe you have a beat store, you're not selling any beats, or you're dipping your toe in it. You're like, I'm going to try selling beats. I've never tried it before. What do I need to do to get started, right? What I would suggest is that you find an actual mentor, so that when ChatGPT is pulling information off of all of the internet resources, it's pulling from a specific person that you want to learn from, right? So, hey, ChatGPT, I would like to start selling my beats. I'm a music producer. And I know we got Brainiac and AI on here, which are mostly in the kind of the hip hopish type of thing, right? So I'm gonna say I'm a hip hop producer. I'm gonna make it hip hop. I'm a hip hop producer. And I know you guys are more than just a hip hop producer, but for this example, who are the top 10 suggestions for a mentor to help me become profitable? Right? There we go. So we got Busy Work Beats, we got Legion, MIDI Money, Curtis King, Illmind, Postman, Kyle Beats, DJ Payne 1, Anno Domini, and Taz Taylor, right? So there are a few examples. If you had no idea, right? I think all of us have probably seen all of these people in our feeds because we've been producing for a long time. But this is one option. All right, cool. Here, let me. I'm gonna show my face as well, real quick. Let me hide the what do you call it? The chat background here. There we go. All right. And I'm going to do a little side by side. There we go. Perfect. All right. You know what? Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to bring this up full screen so you can read everything that I'm typing. All right, cool. So now we're going to go back to ChatGPT and say thank you. Because hey, why not be polite to the computer, right? Thank you. Let's see. So let's pick one. I know Curtis King's kind of out, even though he's out of the game. Like he could be. Actually, Curtis King is not Works Beats. That's somebody else, isn't it? Am I mistaken? Like I feel like Curtis King is Curtis King, and Busy Work Beats is somebody else. But anyway, yeah, here's Curtis King down here. Busy Work Beats is somebody else. Let's say we'll go with Curtis King, right? Actually, I'm gonna go with DJ Payne 1. I watch a lot of his videos. I feel like he's somebody I would want to get mentorship from, right? Thank you. Could you pretend that you are DJ Payne 1 and that you are mentoring me to start my beat selling business, right? Please ask me. So you want to get ChatGPT to ask you questions first before otherwise you're just using it as a Google search engine. You want to get it to prompt you first so that you can create the best prompts back to it, right? Please ask me, but you also don't want it to print a book out at you either, right? Because that's just going to be overwhelming. So I'm going to please ask me the most important, I'm going to say five most important questions that you would need to know to help get me started, right? There we go. If I were DJ Payne, I'd ask you these questions. What specific goals do you have? What are your current beat? How many beats do you have? What's the catalog? What type of style? What kind of volume? How much experience do you have? Do you have a presence on social media? What are your main strengths when it comes to production, or is it your business skills? All of those, right? It wants to know what you're good at, what you still have to learn, and then it'll give you instructions. So you get that this is a conversation. You want to have ChatGPT asking you more questions than you're asking it in the beginning, because that's going to get you to start critically thinking. That's going to get you to start doing some self-evaluation. And then the information you get back to ChatGPT is going to be a lot more valuable, and it's going to be a lot more specific, and it's going to be able to help you more. So, but it's a great starting point. If you have no idea where to start there. A few things that I've used it for recently. So, I want to create an irresistible offer for some of the things I'm going to be creating in producing for artists. So I need to know the elements of that. So, for example, um, right. So I read a book called Sell Like Crazy, but I couldn't remember what the 7 elements were. Oh, eight. Looks like there's 8 elements that you need for an irresistible offer. So I first asked it to remind me of what those were. And then I said, hey, can you create me a couple of scripts for an ad based on this irresistible offer? One of them just a monologue, just a straight pitch, and then the other one's like a conversation between two people, right? And it spit out these, and I asked it to have a casual language and all of that, and it spit out two pretty good scripts to start with, so you can just go in and edit it as you need it. um, Email spam filter optimization. Hey, I want to type this into my distribution group to my email list. Can you optimize it to get through spam filters? Right. And it does that, keep the language casual, all that kind of stuff. Those are just a couple things that I've used it for. But I think if it's common sense, if you just think of it as a conversation and get ChatGPT to ask you questions, that's how you're going to get the most out of it. And it's an amazing free tool that you have at your disposal. So going back to the scavenger mindset, use what you have around you. This is one of the free things that just about everybody has. So use it. Don't get left behind. All right, cool. Definitely 2 people. Oh, like for the ad creation? Yeah. Yeah, that's in the future. So, um, that's probably a good segue. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. That's probably a good segue into what's planned for producing for artists. And the only reason I'm not doing all of this just to be for self-promotion. I'm explaining what I'm doing with to monetize my music. I just want to share that with the world to help you generate your own ideas and figure out how to monetize your stuff, right? And it's not just music. I mean, there are other revenue streams that you learn as you get into the whole business mindset. Like you start developing all of these other skills that you can put on Fiverr and sell that as a service, right? If you have the time, um, something like that. But anyway, let's go into future plans for producing for artists. So let me find the document on it real quick. Okay. So let me share my screen. So right now, producing for artists, if you have somebody that wants to learn how to produce in FL Studio, it's more for that, right? Also, songwriting, recording, mixing. I have a course on that as well. So if you're an artist who maybe doesn't necessarily want to learn how to produce, um, you may want to just learn how to get your ideas down and sing and send good quality vocals to a producer for a final mix or that type of stuff, right? So I have that as well. And that's kind of where it sits now. But I'm once we learn more about this whole monetization things and start getting some success, I'm starting to build a lot of courses around how to get there, or at least my path to get there. Um, and I want to make it, the vision for it is that it's affordable. Like there's some other programs out there that cost so much money to, give the coaching and guidance on how to make a living making music. I want to make mine a lot more affordable for the people that I know. Right. So like I was looking at, I don't want to call anybody out, but I was looking at another similar program, and it was, there was it had like an upcoming event which would cost you $1,500 to $3,000 to attend. Now, this person has a lot of success stories, a lot of people that they've helped, etc. And the value's there, right? It's worth it. Since we're a bit newer, we're going to charge a lot less, but um, offer a lot more help, a lot more one-on-one help, sessions like this, and all of that. But anyway, let me show you some of the course ideas that we're going to put together, and then how we're going to sell it. And maybe that'll start getting your wheels turning on, if you're a business person and you're like, well, how am I going to monetize my music? What types of things could I actually sell to people? Do I want to sell anything to people? Do I just want to do it as a hobby? Maybe you're on the fence and you're like, you know what? This is too much work. That's perfectly fine. Believe me, it's a lot of work. Ask Aaron Island. He knows for sure, right? So, and that's perfectly fine too. But if you want to learn about it, that's why I do this session every week. So let me share the products roadmap doc real quick. All right, there we go. Let me zoom in a bit. All right, so my plan is we're gonna have a giveaway, right? And this producing for free course is gonna go away right now. If you know anybody that wants to learn how to produce in FL Studio, or they're just new to producing in general, they can pick up that course for free. That's the giveaway right now. That's what gets people to, in exchange for an email, they get a free course, and then you have people on your email distribution list that you can, keep relationship with. But soon we're gonna have, actually, I'm gonna call it the music money making machine. Um, and I actually worked with ChatGPT to come up with the names for all this stuff, right? That's another thing you can use ChatGPT for. But the music money making machine. And it goes with the 4 M's. So, here we learn about mindsets, marketing, music creation, all of those skills to create monetization. So it's kind of a 4M theme to it. But we're going to have a course called the Music Money Making Machine. And all that's going to do is kind of be uh, open up people's minds who have maybe even never thought that they could make money at music. Just show them all the different ways that they could. And what that will do is it'll highlight the courses that are under the program, and it'll get them, emotionally excited about making money from their music, and they'll be, more in that mindset to purchase something. Because anytime somebody purchases something, it is an emotional decision. All right. But I'm going to put that course together. I'm going to wait until all of the courses are complete so I, craft a good message for this free course. But all of this takes time. But the plan is, so we're going to have this is all of the courses that's going to be in the Music Money Machine program, right? So we're going to have, and it's good to name things like it's a product, even though it's just like a list of courses to help people do that. Um, giving it a name makes it a lot more powerful. But we're gonna have like a welcome music with a mission, right? A lot of people just make music because it sounds good, and then they, like they never think of having purpose with their music. Like, okay, after I finish this, this masterpiece that I've created, what am I gonna do with it? I would say like probably 75% of music creators out there have no plan for their music. Some do. Some are like, I'm gonna put it in a beat battle, or I'm gonna just share it on social media. Maybe that's your whole plan, right? But if you're crafting it for TV and film, or to actually be released or something like that, it's important to have a mission. But that's the welcome. Make sure your music has a mission. It's going to go over email, like marketing things like emails on autopilot, how to nurture relationships that you can build with people that subscribe to whatever your free giveaway is, traffic secrets, so organic ways to find your people for free, meta advertising. So I actually have a few certifications in that. So I'm going to go over like how to set up your marketing funnel, kind of the budget way to do that in the beginning, and then how you can scale it out later if you want to do that. A cold email system where you can find email addresses and reach out to people. There might be some DM things in there, but that's really not me. But I don't think I'd be doing people justice without including it. So and that'll probably go under finding your people for free. I'm going to put DM strategy, right? I hate doing DMs, but it's successful for a lot of people. So I don't want to leave anything out that's worked for somebody. Um, building your music hub, that's all about building a website. As I created producing for artists, the website, I definitely, just put the video, anything I'm doing, I just put a tutorial video together as I do it. Creating irresistible products and offers, building a sales funnel, beat bank, so starting your own beat store. We're going to get into all of that and how to be successful with that. Getting your first sync placements. That course is pretty much done. And then other streams of income. Will be its own course, and we're going to briefly touch on affiliate links, top lining, mixing, all of these other types of ways that you can make music. All right. The whole system's going to be $97. I'm actually going to just include uh, producing for artists, like music creation. I'm going to include that as part of the program. So it's just one product, one price. All right. Let's see if I can. Well, I'll add it in later. So, but this will be up here. I think if I just do this, probably. Nope. All right. And then there's a couple of, whenever you create an offer, right? And 97, I mean, that is a fairly high price, but for everything you're getting, it's not, because it's going to have all of that information and all of that. It's going to, for anybody that just wants to get started making money in music, it's going to be like the fast and easy way, right? But so offering a mentorship, right? So I have a mentorship program that's $1,000 a month. You want to have like a bump and an upsell. So meaning, in order to spend all the money that you spend on advertising, in order to make sure that it pays off, you need to make sure that you have your stuff priced correctly. Unless you're just doing organic and maybe optimizing for Google SEO and things like that. Unless you're doing only organic, but if you are actually paying for advertising, you want to have a couple of ways to make the overall value of what you're selling more. So instead of only offering one product that's $97, you want to have a couple of other offers that follow that in your what's called a sales funnel. So you'd have that initial training that's free. They'd watch that, get really excited about learning how to make music or make money from their music. They may say, you know what, I am going to buy this whole system. I want the music money making machine, right? They decide to buy it, and it'll have like a little bump, right? Like it could be, hey, if you want help, if you're new to music creation and you want to get your ideas down in FL Studio, but you're not necessarily an expert producer or mixer or engineer yet, let's collab together, right? You send me your ideas, you send me your raw vocals, and I will finish your ideas, format it, mix, master, something like that, right? And maybe that's like $147, which is an incredible price for something like that. And then the final, like maybe one-time offer is, I'm offering one-on-one help. Normally this is $3,000, but for this one time, I'm going to offer it for 1,000, right? Something like that. And what that does is it helps your overall total order value be more than $97. So even if, let's say 30 people buy it, 10 people buy the bump, and then, maybe one or two buy the mentorship, all of a sudden your total order value is probably more like $152. I didn't do the math. I'm not Rain Man or anything, but it's going to bring up that order total value so that when you go back to your advertising, you can be like, is this worth the money? Is my offer good? Are people buying, right? As you're driving traffic to it. I did not mean to get that deep into sales and offers and all of that. I'm going to go more into that in future, these future 1 hour sessions on Saturdays at 12 p.m. But that gives you an idea of what we're trying to do with producing for artists. And hopefully that sparks any ideas that you may have on how you can monetize your music, right? Oh, thanks, AI. Oh, I'm bringing the chats back. So, okay, let me stop sharing. All right, cool. What's up, Curse Love? We listened to one of your tracks a couple weeks ago, but I don't think you were in there. But yeah, we did that. Music Money Making Machine. All right, cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. And if Aaron Island, I know you're already deep into sync and movie music and all of that, but Curse Love, if you're interested in that, if you haven't, I saw you kind of give me a thumbs up and all that. If you haven't already picked up that course, it's free in the files section of the Producing for Artists group. So make sure you pick that up. All right, cool. Yeah, so the whole idea of this stream is to like just show completely behind the curtain of everything that I'm doing. Because I hope it helps you, because that's kind of like where my passion lies, is like helping other people succeed, right? Like I'm a teacher. I'm like at work. I'm a manager. I've always been a teacher and a supervisor and all that kind of stuff. So like that's where my heart lies. I really want to help people. Anybody out there who's trying to figure this out, I want to do everything in my power to help you. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing with all of this. It may be overwhelming. You may be like, I'm not doing that, or I'm not doing that, but you may pick up a nugget or two that's going to help you. Oh, I never thought about doing that, right? And then that'll help you along the way if you're trying to make a little money with your music. All right. So let's see what's next on the agenda. I thought this was going to be a shorter one. This might be a longer one. We went over ChatGPT, monetization. So we've been over mindset. We went over marketing. Now I want to talk about monetization a little bit. Oh, future plans for producing for artists. That was under that category. But one thing I do want to talk about that I just added a couple of modules today to that sync licensing training. Independent artist out of Florida, Curse Love. All right. I hope that hurricane didn't get you. I know a big one just went through there, so I hope your power stayed on and all of that. But I just added a couple things to that sync licensing thing. But how to basically export your files based on the what they're asking for. Super important if you do work with a music licensing company. You definitely want to have a high attention to detail, pay attention to the instructions, and ask questions if you're unclear on things. Because whenever you deliver your tracks, they're going to ask for like, oh, you're good in Florida? That's good. All right. Good, good, good. I'm glad you got power, all that. It's good to know. But when you're delivering those final tracks, they're going to ask for certain naming conventions for the file names. They're going to ask for certain versions, like a main version, maybe an alternate version without drums, all of these different types of things. They're going to ask for stems, and they like it's not just individual instrument stems, but they like for certain instruments to be grouped together, like all the percussion together, all of the, low strings together, all of it, whatever it is, right? Make sure you pay attention, make sure you ask clarifying questions. They don't mind the questions in the beginning, because they know you're newer to their music licensing company, and they just want to make sure it's right. All of this is designed to make everything easy for them and easy for the music supervisor. So you don't want the music supervisor to have to search for, oh man, I want to take the drums out of this track because it's underscoring some dialogue, and the stems aren't labeled correctly, or they mixed in some strings with the drums and it doesn't have just the drum track, or whatever it is, right? Like, and then that's gonna have basically impact the relationship between the music licensing company and the music supervisor, and we definitely don't want to do that, especially with your name attached. So to make sure you're sending it right the first time, pay attention to detail. And that course goes over, how I do that. Every music licensing company is different. Just make sure you're paying attention to what they're asking for. All right. Cool. Did not know that. All right. Awesome. All right. And let's see what else is on the agenda. I think that's it. All right. So that's all I have for this week. I'll check my email real quick just to see if I missed any music submissions. All right. Hold up. Let me switch to my Jason at Producing for Artists email address. Oh, you know what? I should share that. I should have been sharing that this whole time. Let's see. Is it under captions? There we go. Jason at producingforartists.com. So if you do have, if you want to send music in there and get a music review, I just do one a week. The whole idea behind it is, like, I'm not here to critique your music like it's good or bad or anything like that. What I'm doing is, number one, looking to see if there's something in your music that people in the group can learn from, right? What's good about your track? What can we take away? How did you do that? If you happen to be in the chat, I would ask you, how did you do this or that? Number two, is there any advice that I or anybody else in the group can give you to improve? But the very first question I ask before all of that is, what's the purpose of the music, right? Is it an artist release? Is it for TV and film? Is it for a beat battle? What's it for, right? And then that way, that'll kind of give us context to give you any advice. All right. So nope, I'm not seeing anything in my Jason at producing for artists this week, which is cool because I do have to leave a little bit early anyway. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, AI, Curse Love, Brainiac the Maniac, everybody that stopped in. I really appreciate it. I will see you next week. But until then, master your craft.